Good morning, class 10th. So, today I have decided to choose a topic from your book, which is nutrition and its types. And why I am choosing this topic today? Reason being because yesterday I gave you one homework related to some topics related to some nutritional processes, and I saw that many of the students were confused in the topic. Maybe some students were absent during the classes when I explained you this topic. So, in this session, we will discuss about the nutrition and its types. So, let's start. What is nutrition? Basically, nutrition is a process by which food is taken inside the body, and it is because it is in solid form, so we cannot utilize it like this only. So this food should be converted into simple form, and once the food is converted into simple form, it is absorbed by the body in the blood, and then it is utilized for different activities. So basically, the process from where the food is taken inside the body, it is converted into simple form, and it is being utilized for different functions. That complete process is known as nutrition. For example, if you are eating the pulses, as you know, these pulses are rich in proteins. These proteins will be converted into these proteins will be converted into simple forms. Simplest form of protein is amino acid, and those amino acids can be utilized in our body for forming new cells or building or repairing the cells. So that complete process is known as nutrition. Now let us discuss about different types of nutrition. This you have studied earlier in your classes, also in your class 7 or in previous classes. Basically, nutrition is of two types: autotrophic and heterotrophic. Or autotrophs and heterotrophs are the organisms, and this process is known as autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic nutrition is the nutrition in which organism can prepare its own food. They can prepare their own food with the help of raw materials present in the environment. Okay, like air has carbon dioxide, water is present in the soil. So this carbon dioxide in water can be converted into glucose with the help of sunlight and chlorophyll. So this process in which plants or the other animals or the other living beings which can prepare their own food is known as autotrophic nutrition. They can synthesize their own food with the help of substances present in the environment. This is known as autotrophic nutrition. Other than that, heterotrophic nutrition, they cannot synthesize their own food. That is why they take their food from the plants and other animals. Okay, so such kind of nutrition is known as heterotrophic nutrition. Let us see some examples of autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition, like protists. Some protists like euglena. Euglena is a protozoa. It is a protozoan which can prepare its own food. It has chlorophyll. Okay, and some bacteria, some nitrobacter is there, sulfurbacter is there, which can prepare its own food with the help of chemicals like sulfur and nitrogenol. And all plants are included in this groups. All plants can synthesize their own food. Other than that, algae is another example which can synthesize its food. So it is also autotroph. Heterotrophs, these cannot synthesize their food, as I told you earlier. So they take their food from other sources. Like animals, they can eat plants and other animals. Fungi, mushroom is there. This you can see, this is mushroom is a fungus which takes its food from dead matter. Bacteria, they take their food from other sources. Okay, so these are two groups of nutrition: heterotrophic and autotrophic. Now let us see What are different types of heterotrophic nutrition? So heterotrophic nutrition can be of these many types: holozoic nutrition, saprophytic nutrition, and parasitic nutrition. That is holozoic, saprophytism, and parasitism. Holozoic, food is taken in the solid form. Okay, whatever the food is being taken up, it is taken in the solid form. Any organic matter is taken in the solid form. So this is little complex because food is in solid form, it will be converted into soluble form, then only it will be able to be used up. So this needs to have some complex type of digestive system. So examples are human beings, animals, and insectivorous plants. Insectivorous plants are the plants which feed on the insects. Do you remember the pitcher plant? It has a lid. When once the insect sits on it, what happen? It closes its lid and it is digested inside the pitcher plant. So it is the insectivorous plant which takes the food in solid form. Saprophytism is basically to feed on dead and decaying matter. Like if wood is present, so mushrooms, you have seen some mushrooms grow on this wood. Okay, so or the cow dung is present or some fruits are present there, fungus grow on that. Bread mold is an example of saprophytism. Any organic matter which is decaying, which is going to be decay, or it is dead. So these organisms feed basically on dead and decaying matter only. Okay, so some examples are mostly fungus and some bacteria are also there. Like if any animal dies in the forest, bacteria decompose their body. Then parasitism or parasites. Parasites are the living beings which take their nutrients from the host body. Host means any living being. It could be any living being on which they can live and they can take their food from them. That person or that living being is known as host. So basically they live on the host body and they synthesize, they take their food from these living bodies or the host. So such kind of living beings which take their food by growing on the living body or by residing on the living body are known as parasites. Examples are fleas, lice, tapeworm. I told you earlier in the classes that some are endoparasites and some are ectoparasites. Let us revise these two terms again. Endoparasites, which live inside the body, and ectoparasites are the one who live outside the body. Okay, so here if you see some examples are given. Fleas like ticks of the dogs, these live outside the body. Lice, lice that lives outside the body in the hair. Tapeworm lives inside the body. It lives in the intestine of human being. So these are the parasites or parasitic nutrition. Now let us see the types of holozoic nutrition. Holozoic nutrition can be of following types, and this you know well: herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Plant eating animals, herbivores; animal eating animals, carnivores; and the animals which can which can eat both, these are known as omnivores. Example you can find out by yourself, or it is very easy, you have studied in class 6 also. Now let's see what is nutrition in animals. It is basically, it is heterotrophic and it is mostly, it is holozoic. Okay, so we are going to discuss about holozoic nutrition here. So for holozoic nutrition, we have a specialized kind of digestive system to take the food and process it. Let's see what are different steps of nutrition. First step is ingestion. Okay, nutrition, holozoic nutrition is, as I told you, it is not so simple. It is a very complex process. So first step is ingestion. The process of ingestion means that food is being taken inside the body. This process is known as ingestion. Digestion, the food which is being taken up, it is in solid form, so it will be converted into simple form. It is should be converted into means whatever the nutrients are present in the food, these should be converted into simple form. This is your food, it will be converted into simple form. Okay, so that is known as digestion. Like carbohydrates will be converted into the simplest form, that is glucose, which can be absorbed by the blood. Okay, so this process is known as digestion. Then comes absorption. Absorption is basically once these carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are converted into simple form, then these are being absorbed by the blood. So this process is known as absorption. So to take the nutrients from the food. Then assimilation. Assimilation means to whatever the nutrients have been absorbed, these will be circulated into different parts of the body, and once these are transported, these will be utilized for different functions. Okay, fats will give you energy, proteins will help in building the cells, and carbohydrates also give you energy, vitamins help to fight the diseases. So this process is known as assimilation, to use the nutrients for different functions. Then comes egestion. Egestion means to remove the waste. If the food has not being used, it has some chemicals which are not useful for your body, then these food materials or these waste materials will be thrown outside the body. That is known as egestion. Okay, let's see simplest structure, that is if any unicellular organism is there, like see, it is amoeba. Amoeba is a single celled organism, and how it is means within one cell only, how it is possible to do all these steps. Amoeba is also having holozoic nutrition. Okay, so you can see all the steps here, that amoeba, if there is any small food particle which is it lives in the water, and if it founds any living being which is smaller than that, then it will extend up its pseudopodia. These are pseudopodia, and that food particles will be uh, taken inside the body. So this process is known as ingestion, it is ingesting the food. Then one food vacuole will be formed. You can see this is a food vacuole, it is formed here, and that food particle is inside this food vacuole. It has some digestive enzymes which will take up the nutrients from this, and the food will be absorbed here, the nutrients will be absorbed inside the cell. Then you can see this, it is absorbed here, these food particles are absorbed here. Then it will grow, either it will grow or it will do its activity, it will get energy. This is elimination, assimilation. And then if any food particle is not being used up, then it will be it will be expelled outside the body from any part of the body surface. So this is egestion. So a single celled organism also follows all these five steps of ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. Now let us discuss about our system also. This is our digestive system. So ingestion ingestion is done by the mouth. It is the first part of our alimentary canal. So by the mouth food is ingested here. Then in mouth only you know that some um carbohydrates or the starch is digested. So organ of digestion here you can say mouth. Then some of the proteins are digested in stomach, so stomach is also in helping in digestion. Then small intestine, mostly the digestion is means all the digestion is completed in the small intestine. So mouth, stomach and small intestine help in digestion process. Okay, so this step is completed in these many parts of the human digestive system. Okay, then comes the after digestion comes the assimilation part. It occurs in the cells. Okay, for sorry it then later on one step I skipped here. uh, After digestion comes the absorption. So absorption occurs in the small intestines, ileum and jejunum part. Okay, ileum and jejunum part. So these two parts of small intestines are helpful in digestion of the absorption of the nutrients. And one more thing, water and other nutrients and salts are absorbed in the large intestine also. So this is also one organ of absorption of nutrients and water and salt. Okay, so these two or three are the organs of absorption in human beings. Then comes the part that is assimilation. Assimilation is done in the cells. Once the blood absorbs the nutrient, it carries to different cells, and cells utilize these nutrients for respiration, for growth, for photosynthesis and for whatsoever. Photosynthesis is not carried out here in our body, but some other process like formation of lipids and proteins and formation of cell membrane. This is the process which occurs in the cell. So assimilation occurs in the cells only. Then comes the last process, that is egestion. Egestion occurs by the anus. Okay, anus is the part of egestion. The waste products are removed by the anus. Okay, so this is how all five steps are followed in our body also and in different digestive parts. Now let's summarize the topic. There are five steps of digestion in ingestion. Sorry, there are five steps of you can say nutrition: ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. Okay, ingestion to take the food, digestion to break down the food, absorption to uh, um, take in the nutrients by diffusion. Diffusion is basically absorbing the nutrients from the food, assimilation to use the nutrients, and egestion to remove the undigested food or undigested waste material. So this completes our this topic today. So if you have any confusion you can ask in the group, and I am giving you one homework on the basis of today's session, and you can answer me all these questions, and you can show me in the group at the time allotted to you. Thank you, class.